This is our full guide of what to include in your wedding invitation suite. I'm going to show you what's necessary, what's common, and then also some additional things if you want to. So let's go ahead and dive in. First piece, of course, is going to be the wedding invitation. And this is typically a piece that just invites you to the wedding ceremony. If you're going to have a reception in a different location or at a later time, then you'll want to make sure you include a separate card just for the reception invitation. This piece should technically only invite you to the wedding ceremony. We have some other videos about wording and stuff, because I know that can get confusing as well. If your reception is in the same place and immediately following, as is very common these days, then you can just do something like reception to follow at the bottom. Or even if you don't want to include that, people typically understand we're staying there, the reception will be later, typically we'll include dinner, etc. If you're not including kind of the classic, like right after the ceremony, there's a cocktail hour, dinner, then you might want to include a line here just explaining like if dinner's not going to be served, but there might be heavy hors d'oeuvres or something like that, or there's not going to be any food at all. You might want to include that on here just because people are typically going to expect that. Same if your wedding is like brunch or something, you should say brunch to follow. Now the next piece that people typically need is just your RSVP card. Some people want to put RSVP information on the invitation. I don't recommend this because it can just get lost in all the other information. It's not technical, traditional etiquette. If you must do something, I would recommend doing it on the back, but some people might not flip that over. So I like to put really, really important information on the back of the invitation. Typically, even if you're RSVPing online, I'm going to recommend a separate card for that. If you are doing online RSVPs, then this can be any size shape you want. If you're doing mail-in RSVPs, make sure that the size you choose can fit in an envelope. Even if you do a unique shape, kind of like this oval die cut that we did, it can still fit perfectly in this envelope. If you're doing online RSVPs, I love a QR code. If you don't like the way it looks, you can put it on the back. You can also get nicer looking QR codes. We have a whole nother video about how to do that with our favorite QR code maker, and you can design like a little bit of the shape of it and the colors that you use. If you're doing mail-in RSVPs, then you definitely need an RSVP envelope, and then it is traditional etiquette to also stamp these as well. If you're sending them internationally, then those guests will need to put a stamp from their home country on it to get it back to the US, but any of your domestic US guests will want a stamp on here because people just don't have stamps, and it might be a big pain in the butt for them to go out and get one stamp, but it's not that big of a deal for you to go out and get your 100 stamps for your wedding invitations and put them on here. If you want to save a little bit of money, I love an online RSVP. I also love doing this as a postcard because then you don't need the envelope, you just need the postcard itself. Make sure this follows the USPS recommendations, like don't do an oval shape, and you still will want a stamp, but postcard stamps are a little cheaper. And then there's so many other things that can go in your wedding invitation. These are the two really typical classic pieces, an invitation and an RSVP card. But as I mentioned, if your reception is in a different location or later, you might need a reception card. You might need a card for accommodations. It's not traditional etiquette to put your registry information anywhere printed on the invitation suite. You would typically put that on your website. And most people have a website these days, so we want a card that does include the website information. If you're doing online RSVPs, your website will be on your RSVP card. If you're not, and you just want people to visit the website and you don't have a lot of text there, you could make that something like a little tag that ties on to the invitation. You could do a little fun shaped card because it doesn't need to go in an envelope. It can be any shape you want. So you can kind of play with that a little bit, but if you need more information about accommodations, transportation, if you want to put anything about the location, if there's anything unique about your wedding, I highly recommend calling it out on what's called a details card. And this is just a details card because it can encompass just so much information. Anything that's unique about your wedding. If it's adults only, this is a great place to put it. If you need to put registry information, I would put it here. But again, I strongly recommend just putting that on the website. This could be the bride and groom have kindly requested guests wear white dresses or black suits and tuxedos. So if there's any kind of dress code that you want them to follow that's unusual for a wedding, highly recommend just calling that out on a details card. And then this details card is also going to say for all of the other wedding details, visit our website, and it's going to have the web address. One of my best tips for your website address is most of the time when you get these, you get like theknot.com/2026/Carolyn and Brett wedding, and it's so long, it's hard to fit it on here without making the text really small or breaking up the lines, which can confuse people. So I recommend purchasing a domain such as carolynandbrettwedding.com. Mine for my wedding was just alexandlaney.com, and we still actually have this domain. It was like $13 for a year, and then every year we've just renewed it in case we ever need it for something else. It will be easy for your guests to type in. They're not going to have misspellings. You're not going to get questions about it, and it's kind of fun if you ever want to like put up additional photos, put photos of your baby. We put our baby registry on ours eventually, so it's kind of fun. So most of our wedding invitations do have an invitation, a reply card, and a details card, or a combo. If you're doing an online RSVP, you can kind of combo the details and RSVP card. If you have any additional events for your wedding, such as a brunch, welcome reception, etc., then it's good to have an additional card for those. Or if you have a bunch of different events, just having an itinerary that has all of them listed. Some people like to do a map of the area with things that they might enjoy to do while they're in the area, or just mapping out the locations of the wedding. If you have transportation provided, I highly recommend calling that out on a card, because that's something that people need to know when they're making their travel plans. Additional cards for additional events helps, because if someone is invited to the welcome reception but they're not invited to brunch, for instance, you can just put in that one individual card. You can also make different itineraries, one that has welcome and brunch and one that just has welcome, but you'll have to make sure that you're putting those in the right envelopes. That's something that we do for our custom clients, but if you're DIYing, then you just want to pay attention to making sure the right people get the right pieces of information. Outside of the informational cards, there are so many things you can do here. The sky is really the limit, but I'll show you some of my favorite additions. I really love to tie everything up with a ribbon, a string. Like embroidery floss is probably your cheapest DIY option, but there's all kinds of like velvet, silk ribbons, etc. that are very beautiful. I love tying things up because when you pull them out of the envelope together, nothing's gonna get lost or stuck in the envelope, and it feels like you're unwrapping a little present. So I think this is just such a fun vibe that makes it feel different than everyday mail. And then you can see on here we have a vellum wrap. This one's printed. You can get them plain as well. And that's just going to wrap everything up even more securely. I think this just gives like full present. You're totally unwrapping a present. And in this case, it's just a really fun design element as well. Things like this are going to potentially add weight to your envelopes, and that could potentially add postage. A bump like this, we kept the ribbon really, really small here. But if the bump is really big, if your ribbon is a little bit bigger, or you tie like a big bow, then it might require what's called a non-machinable postage surcharge. So that can add to your postage. So just keep that in mind. The flattest way to tie everything together is with an embroidery floss. It's so thin, you won't even notice it, or a belly band, which is like a paper strip that goes across. And then another great option is something like an envelope liner. This can just protect everything a little further. Plus it's a really just fun addition when you open the envelope to see something here. This can be kind of a pattern like this. This kind of looks like wallpaper, or you could put, a picture of your dog, your initials, whatever you want to do on this envelope liner. This is my #1 favorite embellishment to add to your invitation suites. We do these in really thin paper, so they don't really add to postage in most cases. They could push you over to the 2nd ounce if you're really, really close to it, but typically this won't make a difference in postage. I love an envelope liner on a white envelope as well, because oftentimes even the thicker white envelopes are a little bit see-through, so this will just protect your information from being seen through the envelope. Of course, there are a million other things you can include on your wedding invitations. There's vintage postage, there's wax seals, etc. We have so many other videos showing some of those, but I think these are the really common things that you're going to need in your invitation. Definitely you need an invitation. You need some way for guests to RSVP. And then if there's any specific details that are unusual, such as booking is going to be tough, the weather might be tough, parking might be interesting, etc., then definitely call those out on a details card. Let me know what questions you have about designing your wedding invitations. I have so many other videos on where to print them, how to do your wording, what papers to choose, etc. So I hope you'll stick around and watch a few of those.